Poata Alvie McKree is a playwright that will be taking the stage at the Basement Theatre for a one-night performance with a reading of her play The Handlers at this year's Te Pou Theatre Kōanga Festival. In addition to her whakapapa Māori, McKree is also of Caribbean heritage, hailing from Yurumein and Barbados. Playwright Poata Alvie McKree of Ngāpuhi and Ngāti Kahu ki Whangaroa is with us now. Tēnā koe, Poata. Thank you for joining us.
Kia ora, Neil.
Beautiful, by the way. Beautiful. Alvie, talk to us about The Handlers. What is it about and where did you get the inspiration for this piece?
Yeah, the Handlers is a story about a whānau Māori, all wāhine, who are working in a factory in Auckland in the 1970s. And really it's about them living with the day-to-day realities of colonisation in that decade. It's the story of my mother's generation and my grandmother's generation and how they had to live and work in a society that was reticent, to say the least, to give them space and to make space for their reo, their tikanga and their ways.
Well, being Māori and growing up in Aotearoa, you're likely to be more connected to your Māori side, but you also whakapapa to the Caribbean, and you recently had an opportunity to strengthen your connections to the black community through the BCA Playwrights Lab. How do you think this has helped to not only strengthen your Caribbean ties, but also help you to embrace all of who you are?
BCA as a group is phenomenal. It's a whole collection of black creatives right across the motu. And all hailing from different continents with different lived experiences of being in their black bodies and all committed to making work that celebrates their local experience in Aotearoa, but also acknowledges the wider context that they come from. For me, it gave me space to tell the story of being black and Māori to people who were actually black and could get what I was actually going through. You know, they had similar experiences. I got lots of head nods instead of puzzled looks. Yeah, it's a really powerful group.
You'll also be showing at the Basement Theatre in the same week as black playwright Estelle Chout with her play Po Boys and Oysters. What does it mean to you to have two black playwrights on the stage in Aotearoa in 2022?
Well, first of all, I want to say it wasn't planned. Estelle and I both come from lineages that believe in the continued influence and sometimes interference of our ancestors in the day-to-day lives of their mokopuna. So I'm not surprised that we've ended up on the same stage in the same week. What it means for me, I think, is that New Zealand audiences in general are beginning to broaden their idea of who has a right to tell stories here and whose stories are worthy and worth listening to. Yeah.
Living as a black Māori woman in Aotearoa clearly provides you with a unique perspective. How do you feel this is reflected in your mahi?
It's woven throughout. So in The Handlers, it's a Māori story, but there's a musical soundtrack running through it, and that soundtrack draws heavily on African and Afro-Caribbean music. But although the thing of being black and Māori is unique, it was even more unique that my father died when I was a baby and my mother remarried a Tongan. So I was raised as a black Māori girl in a Māori Tongan household. And that is really the basis of all of my storytelling. You know, I'm really interested in stories that talk about whanaungatanga between Māori and other tauiwi who are not Pākehā. You know, there's more stories to be told than just the Māori-Pākehā relationship. We have interacted with every culture that has come here, and there's a richness to be explored in all of that.
And when will all the audiences get to see you present your play, and what do you hope they'll take away from this experience?
It has one reading because it's still in development. So there's one reading on the 1st of October, thanks to Te Pou Theatre. They're going to run us through development week this week coming, and then they'll present all of the works. And what I hope is that people will come and laugh and remember their nannies and their aunties and go away kind of understanding some of the decisions that our mothers and our aunties and our grandmothers made in that time because of what they were dealing with.
And so what's next for you, Alvie?
What's next is a work called Black Māori Woman with BCA, and that's also for the stage. Haven't quite figured that one out because I want Whitney Houston as a character.
Look, I just want to ask you before we go, what advice do you give to others that have mixed cultures such as yours?
Embrace all of it. Embrace all of who you are. Don't let anyone convince you that you should put one part of yourself to the side. Celebrate all that your both sides of your whakapapa have to offer you, and whakamana them. Like just give it everything.
You, e hoa, are special. Thank you so much for talking to us today, Playwright Alvie McKree. Thank you so much, and all the best for your show. Tēnā koe.
Tēnā koe, Neil. Thank you.